Well, Darren, before the Crewe game last time around, you were very impressed with Crewe as a side, and then we saw evidence of that with the game itself, and they seem to have carried that on. They're having a good season.
Yeah, they're having a very good season. I expected them to do well this season. I think they're a team that have been together probably longer than most, probably 3 years now. They've kept the same of it anyway. So when you've got that and you have time to do that, then it does help. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see them doing well. I spoke about them when we played them. We didn't turn up though, to be fair. And I'm fully expecting a much better performance.
Yeah, they're a side that tend to see a lot of the ball, but perhaps don't create that many chances. So the away game would have been a good example, really, of what was it, a set play and an error really let them into the match.
Yeah, before they scored, we actually had the better chances without playing well. But we were way off it on the day. They thoroughly deserved the win. But I'm sure they'll know, and I'm fully expecting that we'll be far better on Saturday. We need to be. We need to do certain things a lot better than we did that day. But on the day, it was a soft free kick that was given and a soft goal to lose. And then the second goal was an individual mistake. So, but we've got to always focus on our performance. And that's a long time ago. You know, no two games are really the same. You'd always expect a different sort of game, regardless of the result in the first match. We know what we can do. We know what we're capable of. We're at home. We're strong at home. We need to put a really strong, aggressive performance in again.
With the more recent game, is the MK match a good blueprint in terms of a side that like to keep the ball, that you really rattled into making mistakes and got after early in the game?
Yeah, I've said all along and been consistent all along this season, we're a far better team. We're urgent, have energy, play quick, aggressive without the ball. We've shown real good examples of that this season, and that's probably been the platform for us winning games. And that has to continue, and it has to continue on a consistent basis. And to be fair, it has done. I mean, obviously we lost last week at Shrewsbury, but if we beat Crewe, we've taken 13 points out of 18, one of the form teams in the league. And that's all we're looking to do.
In the context of this season, I think you touched on it previously anyway, but recovering from setbacks is such a big thing, in that you look at every side in League One, everyone's had moments where it hasn't gone to plan, but the sides who are near the top are the sides that, when you have a bad day, you can get straight back on it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. And over the course of any season, in particular this season, because it isn't a normal one, there's with so many games together in a small space of time, it will be more difficult this season to remain as consistent as you would like to in a normal season. So there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be off days. You don't want to have too many of them. You don't want to have them on a consistent basis. You know, it's about the consistency, both mentally and physically, and getting results. And, you know, we're up there. What are we, five off the top, I think, with a game in hand. So we're right in the mix where we want to be. And we're looking forward to Saturday and, you know, hopefully get back to winning ways.
Is Jack Taylor continuing to progress as you hoped he would do?
Yeah, Jack seems fine. He's gone away to do some tests on his calf today, but he trained on Tuesday. You know, Jack was one that obviously we had to wait until Monday to see how he was. He felt a lot better. And we have to go off what the boy's saying. Tuesday he trained for a period. So when you've got that, you know, that was the key things to it. It wasn't at the time we felt as he pulled a muscle or anything, but that doesn't seem to be the case. But he's going to have to do some tests today on it. He's gone away and done that. We'll have a better idea this afternoon.
Yeah, and presumably the really big thing for this weekend is not to take any sort of risk that may put him out for more games. If you use him, you want to be sure that he is 100% okay, because the worst case scenario would be to aggravate something.
Yeah, I think the key that what we set out to plan at the start hasn't changed. You can't change things. I've always maintained that if there's any doubt of a player being injured, through the signs that we get, Jack being an obvious one, if he'd have carried on Saturday, probably could have got injured. Jono, if he'd have played on Tuesday for a full game, probably would have got injured. Nathan Thompson, similar. They're just showing signs of fatigue, which you have to take into consideration. one of the main reasons why I changed the team was because of that on Tuesday. So yeah, these signs are important in terms of we give them things to let us get the information we need, and we trust the players on that. But certainly we have to be mindful of that. I will not be risking anyone regardless.
Has Frankie got through his concussion okay?
Frankie's great, trained really well. He looks good, he looks fresh. Dan Butler's trained today, looks good, looks fresh. He's, partner had a little boy, so that's good news. Obviously, he was a little bit concerned about that, as you would be as a father, but he's got through that, so there's a little bit of pressure off him. He looked really good today, so there's a bit of freshness going into Saturday, no doubt about it. And like I said, our home form's good, and it needs to continue being that way. I think we've got 2 more games still at home than we have away from home, and the key for us is going to be our home form, no doubt about it.
Yeah, because we know that it's such an attritional season and teams will suffer setbacks. And also, we've spoken about it before, but just the sheer difficulty of the away games, I think perhaps from the outside looking in, it's hard for us to get an idea of quite how different it is for you guys, the fact that the travelling is so different, all of those extra protocols.
Yeah, it's a difficult season for everyone, all the things you've just said. The logistics of it all. It is a much more difficult. It's a very challenging season. There's no getting away from that. But we felt it would be that way. And when you're in it, you realise it is a challenge. But like I say, it could be the survival of the fittest, and I mean that by mentally as much as physically. And we've got to do our job in terms of making sure the players are recovering, making sure they're prepared properly. Going into Saturday, the game at Shrewsbury, bang in form. Had 1-3 and drawn, so we'd taken, 10 points from a possible 12, 1 defeat, okay. It doesn't mean that everything has to be put into panic mode, which can sometimes happen. And it was 1 defeat in 8. Tuesday was disappointing because it was a real opportunity to get closer to Wembley. But let's put it all in perspective in terms of where we're at. If we win on Saturday, we're one of the form teams in the league.
Is Joe Ward all okay after his comeback?
Looks good. Got 90 into him. Got 45 into him on Tuesday, which was needed. He looks much better. I'm expecting him to really kick on now.
Yeah, and we were talking about self-belief from his point of view. With Reece Brown, is he another player where he's got bags of talent and maybe it's just a case of watching him on the pitch, but he does seem to be one of the quieter ones? Is he another one that just really needs to believe in his own ability?
No, I think Reece is okay in that. I think look, he's a confident boy, Reece, in a quiet way. I get you. He's not a loud vocal lad. He just goes about his business and just gets on with playing games. No, look, I've got good choices in the middle of the park, and I've said that all along. And you've got to remember you've still got a lot of games to go. So mixing it up in that area is never a bad thing. We look at the opposition and think where we can be stronger in certain players tactically that will suit us better to the opposition and not the other way around. So yeah, I've got 4 midfielders that are more than capable.